Good morning, everybody. Going to one of my favorite places again. Yeah, besides having to tiptoe around some poison ivy, it is one of my favorite spots. Right back here under the big, gigantic oak tree. And it's just so quiet, so peaceful. Kind of reminds me like creation, you know? And I'm way back there at the beginning of time, and this is the Garden of Eden. Yeah, it's just so awesome. I don't know. Did we have house cats back then? Well, mine follows me everywhere, so yeah, their cats were part of Eden. It had to be. But the reason I thought about creation and all that, I haven't really talked about the Apostle Paul this week in our reading, our epistle lesson that comes from Romans. He talks about creation in there, and he talks about how creation is moaning and groaning and travail, like labor pains. And you know something, before we go any further, I'm going to make a personal confession to all of you right now. The Apostle Paul drives me nuts. I mean, there are times where, what gives, Paul? Where are you going with all this? Like even today, what we have chosen to read as part of our lectionary on Sunday morning, he's all over the place. He talks about creation, he talks about moaning and groaning and labor pains, he talks about adoption as sons, he talks about living in the spirit and not in the flesh, he talks about suffering with Christ. I mean, he's all over the place. Like, come on, Paul, can't you just concentrate? And another confession, I'm so glad that my mom, when I was growing up, didn't use this as a form of punishment for me. Go to your room and start reading Romans, and then write an 8-page essay on it. Oh, it would have driven me nuts, because it still drives me nuts. But he has some great stuff to say at the same time. You just have to sit there and look at it and scratch your head a lot and think, now I think I get it. Now I think I understand you, Paul. It's one of those times when you really do have to let the Spirit of God work in your life if you're going to try to figure out what he has to say. But anyhow, getting back to creation moaning and groaning and as if it was in labor pains. How would I know? Labor pains? I've witnessed them. I haven't experienced them. But I got to thinking a little bit, what's he talking about? All of creation, labor pains. And you think, well, yeah, our earth is in pretty bad shape in some respects with the pollution and the climate warming and this and that. Wait a minute, this is almost 2,000 years ago. This isn't what he's talking about. He's talking about all of earth moaning and groaning, waiting for redemption, waiting for that time when God just kind of pulls it all together, where we as part of creation, we human beings created in his image, are part of this great redemptive act that he has done in Christ. And I thought, it's not about necessarily all the bad stuff that's happening, because think about it. The labor pains, what's the end result? New life. The emphasis, as tough as that is to go through, I'm sure, ladies, the end result isn't something bad, it's something good. It's new life, new birth. All of redemption, all of creation rather, is looking forward to that redemption. All of creation is looking forward to that new life, that new birth. It's kind of, yeah, it's there, but it's not here yet. Not in its fullness. And what's really interesting about it, especially as we go on and read through Romans and read through some of the other things Paul has to say, is you and I are a part of that process. You and I, as his people, are a part of the ongoing redemptive process that God is carrying out in his world today. Look at that sun shining through the trees. It's going to be another gorgeous day. You and I are part of this gorgeous day. You and I are a part of redeeming this world. Redeeming it for God through Christ, through his Spirit. Because, as crazy as Paul might seem, he's got it right. Jesus is our brother. We have been adopted into the family. We are joint heirs with Christ. And because of that, not only do we get all the good stuff, we also get the responsibilities. Let's go out and be partners with God in making things right in this world. God's blessings be with you.